Hello, I'm Gil Zilkha. Welcome to my channel, Essential Classical Music, where we look at the best recordings of the classical music repertoire. This video is taken out of my larger video on solo vocal works. I hope you enjoy it. Not quite done yet with Schubert. I do want to bring special focus and attention to his most famous popular song, you might even argue maybe the most famous song ever written, talking about Ave Maria. And bonus points on the pop quiz if you know Ave Maria's original name. Okay, time's up. It's Ellen's dritte Gesang, Ellen's third song, and that comes from its placement in a 7-song set that is based on a Scottish legend. And there's this character, Ellen, who's the Lady of the Lake, and her third song in the piece is this Ave Maria, this Hail Mary, praying for the well-being of the Scottish tribesmen as they're involved in strife and war. And of course, it's just a beautiful, beautiful lyrical melody, famous for good reason. I never get tired of it. I think it's just gorgeous. And I want to mention just a few versions that most of them are coming from albums that I've already recommended. First of all, this CD I already mentioned with Barbara Bonney. She sings all 3 original German verses. Sounds just beautifully sweet and full as well. Just a gorgeous version with Jeffrey Parsons on piano. Also, I want to mention this one, if I can find it. Let's see. This one from Kathleen Battle's Christmas album. I already mentioned the Gounod Ave Maria earlier. This is with an orchestra that features the harp on those arpeggios. That, you know, there's that blum 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 blum, that piano part. It actually is meant to depict a harp in the first place. So you have Leonard Slotkin and the St. Luke's Orchestra accompanying her here, and she just sounds beautifully angelic. That sort of soft, fluttering soprano voice above the arpeggios is just gorgeous. Just like Bonnie with the original 3 German verses. Also, a version which features actually more the orchestra, especially the string sound from Guess Who? Herbert von Karajan and the Vienna Philharmonic from 1961. You know, you got to hear it, right? With Karajan and that lush string sound, it really does sound seductive and gorgeous. And at some point, he allows Linton Price to come in and sing a verse as well. And she sounds gorgeous and full and beautiful. So this is also a version that I think was worth recommending. And this actually comes from Linton Price's own Christmas album. So this is wonderful as well. A couple more versions. One is from the most famous singer probably of the last half century, Luciano Pavarotti. I mentioned from this album his Franc Panis Angelicus earlier. He does a great job of Ave Maria from the same sessions. I think originally it was Oh Holy Night was the album name, with Kurt Adler and the National Philharmonic from 1976. Just beautifully strong and passionate. And heartfelt. This is the first version I knew, and I believe he was singing it on the Tonight Show in the 80s. I think that's the first time I ever heard this song. So maybe it's like kind of just locked in my brain. But he just does it so naturally and passionately, and the voice just soars. So you know, you got to hear this version. He does a verse in Latin, the familiar Latin that's been adapted from the German, as well as another verse in Italian. So that's a great one. I also want to recommend, I mentioned her earlier for leader, Elizabeth Schumann also has a version from the mid-30s with an unnamed orchestra, again with that harp arpeggios. And this is beautiful just to hear that style, that age-old style of German lieder, with the immaculate phrasing and her beautiful full tone that she just controlled so well. Even though the sound is fairly dim, you hear her voice fairly clearly. And then finally, this is going to be sort of maybe a gratuitous personal choice, but I want to mention one instrumental version. It was actually adaptation for violin by I think it was arranged by someone named Wilhelm. And this is an old recording from 1930 with Branislaw Huberman on violin, accompanied by Siegfried Schultz. I love this recording so much. I even put it on my YouTube channel years ago, and it's still there. And it's just so heartfelt and lovingly phrased. I never get tired of this. It comes across fairly clearly, even with the crackles and so on. But I just wanted to throw that in here because I really love this version. Thanks for watching. I wish you all a great day and happy listening.